What are you tuning to now?
I'm tuning to a drop G tuning, so I'm tuning this down.
Oh. So just the 2 bass strings. You just got the 5th and 6th strings down, whole step.
So, but for you, this will be an A chord because I'm tuned up a step, like a K bow on the 2nd.
Right.
So I'm, in fact, I'm going to put this sheet music and tab on my website pretty soon, at least for the main
For everybody
thing.
that has this 95-string guitar? Or it can be done on a normal guitar?
It can be done on a normal guitar.
Okay.
So how about, we talked about doing that Cat Stevens tune.
Oh!
Yeah.
Moonshadow?
Moonshadow. Yeah, let me tune these down.
Okay. So that's going to be an A then, right?
That's good.
Okay. Yeah, I got it. I usually think of it in D, which is what key he did it in, I think.
Oh, okay.
You know, because it was one of these. No, maybe not. Never mind. I got it in A in my head right now. If I start messing around with D, it'll get a little too jazzy for us.
Okay.
Let's play in multiple keys.
All right. Well, I'll start with a
let me hear
little intro here.
Okay.
Then on to
Is that on an album?
Oh, yep. That's well, the new one.
Okay.
Eclipse.
I guess you probably already said that. I got so caught up in having fun playing
no,
it
that was
I forgot everything you said.
It was one that was requested. That was, yeah.
Yeah.
While I was sitting there watching.
Wow. Okay. So we've started this moon thing. Should we do like paper moon or, you know, never mind.
Yeah, we could do a view from space.
Oh, you probably have to retune for that now too, though, right? That's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. I actually have a couple other things I want to ask you about, but
Sure.
This is way too much fun. I meant for this to take about 10 minutes, and we've already been here for probably half an hour.
Yeah.
You know, but hopefully we haven't lost the audience or ourselves. I don't know. While you've been here, we've talked a lot about various music playing and stuff, and it turns out that like we didn't listen to a lot of the same music growing up. And I'm always puzzled by what the heck you were listening to. When you told me the Rolling Stones story last night, I was like, we don't need to relay the whole thing right now, but you know, to put it mildly, she was surprised to find out that this band that sounded not very good was called the Rolling Stones. You know, sounded like somebody in the garage, you know, playing out a tune.
They sound like people having a lot of fun, but not necessarily, you know, on stage.
Yeah, yeah. So you didn't recognize their voices or their guitars or anything like that when you heard them?
I missed popular culture somehow. I discovered bluegrass at an early age, and I loved the music of Doc Watson and Bill Monroe and
Had you start, just before you started playing, or did you start take up the guitar when you were 6 and get classical guitar lessons, or what was
No, I didn't take classical. I was part of the folk scare. You know, and
as Martin Mull told us.
Yeah. So I picked up a guitar when I was about 8, I guess.
Okay.
You know, took lessons in classes where we sang folk songs.
Okay. So not in school necessarily.
No.
It was like an after school class or something.
Yeah, it was. Our friends had a class. It came out of the tradition of the Old Town School of Folk Music in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
So a branch of that, and Ann and Tom Jones at their
and so you're doing stuff like "This Land Is Your Land" and
yeah.
Tom Dooley and
absolutely, and loving it. And then my parents got me a Doc Watson album, and I was hooked. That was, you know, the epitome of music for me.
Yeah.
Until the time that we were going to a little family get-together, and I heard this music, and I told my parents, stop the car, and I jumped out of the car and joined a line of folk dancers. They were playing Bulgarian folk music. And so somehow, Bulgarian and Macedonian folk music just grabbed me like this. I just loved it. I was instantly attracted to it. So I found a folk dance group to join and did that, you know, every week, and just loved
this is more as like
music.
a teenager, you said, right?
Teenager, yeah. So,
and so your parents didn't have a radio. You didn't hear the Beatles and things like that.
My parents loved classical music, and I didn't really, you know, gravitate towards classical music, but we did listen to, you know, Simon and Garfunkel and Judy Collins, and you know, a lot of that.
Kind of the next generation of folk music, you know, or folk music on steroids or something. You know, because it was a lot more complex.
You know, yeah, all that great stuff.
Yeah. We'll save the Jim Croce songs for later, maybe.
Yeah, we'll jam after the.
Yeah. Now that I know we have some common ground, because Jim was a huge influence on me, and actually it was the first musical death that really bothered me. You know, everybody else that had died before was not really stuff I was into at the time. But in 1973, when he died, it was like, oh, wait a minute, this is like the real world. It's, you know, this is not right.
Yeah.
You know, plane crash, you know, as he was trying to wind down his touring career and stuff too, because he needed to spend time with his kid, you know, his 2-year-old, I think, at the time. But anyway, okay, let's not head down that path much more. I will get all choked up again. But okay, so then you pursued the bluegrass thing, and probably even grabbed a banjo at one point, right? Or a fiddle,
you have to, just for fun, you know. So, and then you know, I did do this thing where I figure out how to do the, you know, the sounds of the instruments. I did a little claw hammer banjo then, which you can do sort of on the guitar.
Yeah.
So and then you can also do trying to shorten this a little bit for our conversation. And here's a little bluegrass
Wow. So who helped you figure that kind of stuff out, or that you could even do something like that on a guitar?
Well, I was touring with a Latvian band at this time.
Okay.
Yeah, I had produced their album, and they were looking for somebody who could play the banjo and the mandolin for the tour, and I just really wanted to go to Russia and Latvia.
Okay.
That'd be cool. So I learned really quickly, and I said, yes, I can do that.
Yeah.
And then, so that was the first time I picked up a banjo.
Okay.
Is to learn the music
Yeah, so
for that tour.
Yeah.
And while we were in the bus going down rural Latvia, everyone else was talking Latvian, and I didn't have quite enough time to learn that language. And so I was sitting there and just with my guitar and said, I wonder if my guitar can make some of those sounds that I've been doing on the banjo and the mandolin. So that's where I started figuring that out.
Yeah. Yeah. Your technique is spectacular. You know,
Oh.
that didn't happen just by accident.
Well, it happened as a result of the music I wanted to play. Every
Okay.
last bit of it, you know.
Yeah.
Just, you know, I never learned technique for technique's sake.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, when I wanted to get that sound, like the claw hammer, you know, and when you're doing claw hammer banjo, your thumb comes up to hit the high string,
Mm-hmm.
and that is now the low string on the guitar.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
not that half-length string.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing is I'm grabbing
have
it
to-
with my ring finger on the way up. So doing a
And you're doing most of the
hammer.
strumming kind of with your index and middle finger.
Yeah, so
So you
it's
kind of got these two together,
yeah.
and this one's ready to catch it up.
Right.
Yeah.
So the motion is more like, you know, a jazz drummer, like this. It's a
Mhm.
motion of the wrist,
Yeah.
up and down rather than back and forth like you would strum.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like that. So
Yeah.
like that.
Very cool. Yeah. I was going to ask you something else. Now, this is often a way beaten path, or a different path, because of something else you mentioned yesterday. Because we just talked about how you didn't hear much popular stuff and things like that. We were listening to a little bit of John Renbourn the other day, or just yesterday, and you noticed that his stuff sounded, you know, fairly Renaissance-y and classical and some Celtic influences and all that kind of stuff. And then you brought up Jethro Tull. I said, wait a minute, what does she know about Jethro Tull? Why do you know anything about Jethro Tull if you didn't know anything about Al Stewart, for example?
I mean, I caught some bits and pieces here. You know, I listened to a little radio. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I have a bunch of lessons up at the site, at least 10 or so of Ian Anderson stuff, and he's a phenomenal guitar player. You know, just the stuff he does is rhythmically so complicated and so offbeat and things like that. And people, I think, underrate him as a great acoustic guitar player because some of the picking he does is just ridiculous. You know, and of course he took up a flute really just to be able to play it in the band and was playing it on record within a month or something. You know, so we think of him as this master flutist, flautner or something. Your last little plug in the German thing messed me up. You know, but yeah, I was just always knocked out by the stuff he did so effortlessly on acoustic guitar, and this stuff always, and because it had this old English sound and things too, and some of the obscure albums I really liked, Heavy Horses and a few others. But anyway, thanks for letting me wander off into Jethro Tull. Last night, Brian and I were up late listening to Thick as a Brick and playing pool, as a matter of fact.
Oh.
I don't know if you heard that. How's it go? It's down at the 3rd fret, but no, I'm not going to do this. Anyway, so, but yeah, very, very cool stuff. So,
Well, I did listen to a lot of Pat Metheny too,
Ah.
and so I was just a huge Pat Metheny fan, and the Paul Winter Consort.
mm-hmm.
So those are my
Yeah.
two big influences.
I had worked on arrangements of.
Oh, nice. I'll have to take your tutorial
haven't done a lesson on it yet, but I at least recorded me playing it, actually sitting right out there on the porch. And I was working on this one too. Ah, there it is. Ah, there it is. Oh wait, no, it's gotta be. So that's still into right A. E with A in the bass, right? And F sharp minor with, anyway, yes. Anyway, so something like that. Okay, it's coming back.
Yeah, beautiful. And it's unusual chord progressions.
Yeah, and unusual phrasing. All of a sudden I'll have these six bar phrases that fit in there, or hang on, you know, when it gets to the E, sus there, and then he hangs on for 2 measures, then resolves it for 1 measure before he goes into there, you know, so it's like these oddball things, you know, but yeah, a lot of his songs just are unbelievable.
Yeah,
you know.
Brilliant.
So, for people that don't know, those two, the first one was James and the second one was Last Train Home.
Oh, okay.
Just so, there's some kind of reference, because I don't want somebody to tell me, it's like 94 minutes into that thing with Muriel, you guys played something, what was it? I have to go look at the, you know, it's like, I don't know! Okay.